Well, what's up, kids? How's everybody doing this fine Friday? Welcome back to another Live at 3, or somewhat live at 3. So what have I been up to around the studio this week? Mostly just getting things organized. Tracy and I finished up on the Kawasaki ZX14, went ahead and rode it back to the dealership all the way up to the salesman's desk. And I think he had it sold before I even left the showroom. So that one's gone and on its way to a new owner. And you can't see it, but on the other side of the camera is mine and Tracy's next project. And the table's not in here and the unit's not in here. It's just an engine sitting by itself on a teardown table. So we'll maybe tease you a little bit next week as to what we're doing with that one, because I think we're going to be working with one of our partners in the YouTube world on this particular project. It's going to be fun. I think I'm going to really enjoy this project start to finish. Got a couple of different turns about it. All right, PRMX team, they are in Washougal, Washington. If I pronounce that wrong, forgive me. Nathan's not out there with him. It's just Mike and Kiki. Well, I say just Mike and Kiki. Mike and Kiki are holding down the fort at the PRMX race. And if y'all are anyone near that event, you need to go check it out. And if you're not, then I'm sure it will be streaming on Peacock. So maybe go watch the guys run this weekend. So go find that on Peacock and check them out. Now, as far as any giveaways for today, well, there's no big things going on, but the what do you call it? Our multimedia staff, they wanted to get in on the giveaways that I've been doing occasionally, giving away tools out of what was usually my toolbox that I do all this from. But this time they put together a summer swag pack. So if you would, Nathan, switch over to it and I'll run down what's in here. All right, this of course is all Partzilla swag. So you've got a hat, some bug wipes, sunglasses, a drawstring bag to put it all in, sunscreen, a cell phone fan, a mist bottle, and then a lanyard with a discount card. Now here's going to be the real trick. Watch the chat, and Hank is going to tell you how to enter to win. So I would imagine he will be dropping in that information sometime during our little live event, and then just follow whatever his instructions are, because he hasn't told me yet. So follow the chat, whatever he says, do it, and who knows, you could be the one that we end up shipping this out to. All right, for this week, let's see what questions I was working on during the week, and then anything that gets shipped in while we are live. All right, I've been working with or talking with John Evans from last week on our Partzilla, Ask Partzilla email address. And the question that he had asked that I wasn't prepared to answer was the best procedure to press in a new crankshaft bushing or bearing in the engine cases on a 2010 Brute Force 750. And he's not talking about the rotational or the ball bearing that's on either side of the crankshaft. No, this is a bearing like you would see in an automotive application where you'd have a clamshell, but it's actually just one shell, but they're usually really thin. And Kawasaki doesn't offer them separately. So if you wanted, or if your bearing was, or bushing was damaged, you were supposed to buy an entire a matched set of engine cases. Well, that's borderline insane, in my opinion. I think most everybody else agrees with that. But the trick is, with a bearing that small or that thin, it can be really tricky to press out and then get the other one in the correct way. And the advice that I gave John was to, of course, support the backside of the engine cases as close to the bearing as you can. You can't just put the case down on a flat surface and push. You're just going to shatter your cases. Your cup that's going to be around there needs to be very close to the outside diameter of the bushing itself. And just the trick is finding the right size drift to push that other bearing out, just like you would with anything else. But the trick is, with the Kawasaki, push it out about 3/4 of the way. At this point, bring it back up, bring your drift back up, put in your new bearing. That way you can align it exactly in the same orientation as the one you're trying to push out, and go ahead and push it in to whatever depth. I think it's just going to be flush on the engine case. And then, of course, that will pop out the old one on the other side. That is the best technique that I've used in the past. Not so much on the Kawasaki, that particular engine case, but other engines I've had to replace that type of bearing in. And oh, there's one thing. I usually added a locking agent, something like the red Permatex or the red Loctite. That does two things. It gives you a little bit of lubrication as you're pushing it in, and then once it's in there, it's in there. So it's going to resist the temptation to try to rotate, because unlike a connecting rod bearings, it doesn't have a tang to actually keep it from rotating. So Loctite, it works out. That's what I've used in the past. So that's what I recommended to John that he do, or the procedure to hopefully get it in there. And I did ask him to send a couple of photos and shoot them back to us if he was successful. All right, Brian Trades 8867. Will rebuilding my carburetor stop my overflow tube from leaking when I have my quad turned on during idle? It should. Generally, it's overflowing because your float needle has some dirt in there, or either the little rubber part of the end of that stopper, so to speak, has cracked, or it's worn off, or may not be there at all, and that's what's causing it to flow out over the overflow tube. Otherwise, guess what? It would just fill up your engine. We don't want that. Kerm, how's it going, Kerm? John, my good man, what are your thoughts on a 2004 CR85R? How often changing the top end, not racing, little farm use? For farm use, like your style, dude. Like your style. Growing up in Southwest Georgia, spent plenty of time riding motocross bike, open farmland, well, in Georgia and in North Carolina. In between their races, in between the motos.